this thing called a convention. And I walk into this large auditorium with 25,000 people from around the world, and it smells like this oil. And I'm like, what is going on here? And then this man, this is 2016, this man zips in on a zip line into the stage for the convention 2016. I was like, what is going on? Why are these people so happy? Why are these people so excited about this thing in a bottle called oils? And who is this man ziplining across the stage, making everybody cry and just so excited with his powerful words? Well, I was introduced to Young Living, and I was introduced to Gary Young, who is just truly phenomenal. No one on earth is like that man. And having the honor and the privilege to spend a few years with him before his passing is the greatest gift for me. It's fantastic, truly fantastic. But so I go there, and then I do the interview with Gary, and he goes, well, I know you're not going to accept this offer until your husband comes out and gets a chance to see who we are, because I know you're part of a marriage and you're gonna want your husband to be involved. So I fly tight out there, and we're having a good time, and he goes, no, we're not gonna leave. But eventually we came to Young Living, and my husband joined Young Living too. And this is actually the 5th company we've worked for together. And this is it, because we found our paradise. Truly amazing. But we also just, we met many years ago. We just celebrated our 27th anniversary last year. Our anniversary is in November. And we have 2 great kids. One is in California, who actually still works with a competitor. Not a competitor, but another direct sales company. She does formulation development. She's a chemical and biomolecular engineer. And our son moved back to Utah to live with us. And he was actually working for Young Living for a little bit in the call center. He just went back to school. But our life has truly been enriched through the experiences we have with Young Living, through our experiences with Gary and Mary, and how they brought us in, and how they really treat the executive team and the entire company as family members. It is a big family reunion every day going to work. First, we have this beautiful building we walk into, but then to go in there and be greeted by Mary's, not just, hi, how are you, hug, love. She just, last week, she came in with this huge bag. I'm like, what are you carrying? She goes, oh, it's coming to your office. I know you love my tomatoes. She picked all these tomatoes for me and cucumbers and brought them to me because she knows I sit at my kitchen and just eat them in the middle of the night, just like eat it like an apple. Love it. But again, who does that? It's a family environment, and like we feel every one of you in this room is part of our family. And Gary felt that way, and it is why Seed to Seal is so important as a message for you to continue to deliver to your friends and family, because it's about people. Seed to Seal is about people. It's about relationships. It's about bringing the best of what we do to you and to your family and to your friends. And that is the message we want you to leave here with today, about the power behind Seed to Seal, behind what David and the team does globally. And we have many people who do what he does. Nobody does it like David does. But we have many people around the globe whose purpose is about you and bringing Seed to Seal to life and teaching the world about our powerful oils. So briefly, before I get into a little bit more about Seed to Seal, is we have a 5x5 pledge. Anyone seen or heard about this? Yeah. Raise your hand. Excellent. Very good. So I know it's hard to see, so I'll just talk really briefly. I'll spend time just on a few of these. But we have 5 different, what we call pillars, of the things that we're going to focus on within Young Living. There's a lot of other things we focus on, but these are things that we really believe are going to make the difference with Young Living. One is about opening up new markets. So our goal is to open up at least 5 new markets or enhance NFR over the next, every single year for the next 5 years. That's a huge feat. If you think about it, Young Living is 25 years old now, right? And up until January of this year, we were open in 13 markets. So it took 25 years to open in 13 markets. So to say, open 5 new markets every single year for the next 5 years truly accelerates the pace. Because this year, in our 25th year, we wanted to make a pledge to Gary. That's all about driving the importance of Gary's legacy to the next level. So even accelerating what he has done to, again, our highest potential. So huge ambition there. We're developing partner farms and corporate farms around the world. Again, 5 every single year. No easy task, because when I talk to you about what it takes to even just get a new oil, much less a partner farm or corporate farm, it'll blow your mind. So it's very intensive, but our goal is to do that. Reach over, well over 1 million more new members this year, but every single year continue to grow, year after year after year in terms of new members to reach Gary's goal of getting oils in every single home. Achieve, and also our philanthropy arm. So when we talk about serving people around the world and making sure that we are connecting with people, we want to serve 1.25 million people. So right now we're probably about 250,000 people that we touch and impact, or times 5. That's the number of people we want to reach through you, our members, and what we do as corporate to help teach, coach, develop them, to help make them have better homes, better places, so that they can sustain and survive for the long haul like we do here in the US. So just really quickly, I had the opportunity, my husband Todd went with me as well, to Uganda. That was 2017. And I was not prepared for what I saw. It was obviously nothing like we typically see here in the US, the poverty, the need, the gaps that they have. Yet, to see people who are so loving and caring and who believe they actually have everything on the earth. And, you know, it's weird as American citizens, sometimes we look around, oh, well, we don't have this and that. But to see people who truly don't have this and that, and to see how they still treat people with love and respect and dignity, how they care for their siblings, how they support their parents and grandparents in their old age, was truly amazing. So they may not have the physical things that we have, but what they have is, you know, the ability to really connect with each other. And so how do we help them in terms of continuing to sustain that so that they can do it in a way that's healthy? Do they have the right dietary nutrition that they need? Do they have the right things to support them for the long haul? And so that's what this is about. This is not about helping them change a culture. I mean, we have enough things that we need to work on here in the US. So we're not gonna go over there and try to change a country. The thing is, how do we drop information, knowledge, tools to help them sustain themselves? To help them give each other the right support so that they can survive for the long haul. And I've seen that firsthand. When you go there and you go to these markets, things like Soul Hope, you know, they have these diseases that are born through the soil and other challenges that they have that get into the sole of their feet and cause them to not even be able to walk, and it's so horrific, the pain that these people experience. And I watched them. My husband was there too, holding a little boy down who had jiggers all over his sole and his hands, dig these out with needles. The pain and the kids crying as they try to get it out, but then treating them and helping them, teaching them how to prevent getting those in the future, the right way to clean themselves, the right way to wear shoes, providing them shoes so that they can walk around and not have these kind of organic organisms get into their body. It was just tremendous to see that what you guys do as members, when you give back, when you go there to support, when you donate your change, can help change lives. Malaria, great example. Malaria takes so many lives in places like Kenya, Uganda, and other places. And a simple $1.75 will help a life. Like that's like it's 29 cents to assess whether they have malaria, and like $1.50 to cure it. To cure it, yet people die. That's unbelievable. But through the work that you guys do and through giving back is how we have made an impact on thousands and thousands and thousands of lives around the world. So thank you for what you do. The last 5x5 I want to talk about is zero waste, because it's amazing how people get so excited about things and the journey that people are on to help make a difference in our world. So we built this beautiful facility. Who has been to our new building? Awesome. If you get a chance to go to convention next year, or if you're going to come up with Silver Retreat or anything else, you've got to go by the building to see what, there's nothing else like it in the state of Utah. This is the only building in the state of Utah that has 2 environmental certifications. Green Globe and also LEED certified. And we're gonna apply to see what level of certification we get for each one of these. But no other building in the state of Utah has this. We have solar panels on the top. We have the cleanest, purest water in the entire state through its filtration systems that are best in class. We have energy efficient light bulbs, and everything we do there really represents the very best of science so that we can save our planet. The right thing for our people, our planet and environment. Beautiful facility. So our goal is to get to zero waste as best as we can within 5 years. And so we have a team, and they're called the Green Team. And we have a person who's fully committed 100% of his time, is committed to the green approach that we're going to take around the globe to support our 5-year initiative and then some. And then there are people from each of the functional areas that are on this team that help support activities within their respective department, as well as new products and other initiatives around the globe. And so one of the examples is, we don't allow plastic bottles in the building. As an example, we all have our bottles that we're bringing from home. We have the purest water on the planet. Why would we buy this water from somewhere else? We all bring in our little, we're all bringing our little bottles, our recyclable bottles, or bottles that we use over and over again, and we fill up with the purest water that exists in the state of Utah. So this is some of the things that we're doing to really help from a sustainability standpoint. So our goal is to really work on packaging and to do as best as we can to make sure it's recyclable, it's reusable, compostable, and by 2024, you're going to see a very different look to a lot of the products that we have now. A lot of products, it's really difficult. How do you get there? I mean, they want to keep everything fresh and moist and delivered to you in the very best way possible. So this is not an easy initiative to go off and do, but it's something that we have a lot of passion for, and we want to be the leaders. As a matter of fact, the other company I was talking about that's on the other side of the state, I back up, Young Living, specifically Jared and Mary, reached out to every single direct sales company to see who is interested in joining Young Living in its journey towards zero waste. And it was one company that responded. One company that responded. And so now maybe more will, but this one is really exciting because they're the biggest. And it's great that we can go on this journey together, because if we are taking the lead, others will follow, just like Gary's mantra, right? So we're going to take the lead in this with this other company, and we'll see what happens from here. Hopefully it's a start to change our industry and really push right decision making on some of these companies to do the right thing. So the 5 things, and I won't spend too much time on this, here's, starting from the top, the biggest one is we want to refuse materials that don't comply with what we call sustainable practices. And so then, the next step, if you can't refuse it, you got to use something. We want to use as little as possible, right? Or we want to reuse if possible, recycle, and then eventually, what is the right process to allow it to rot? So that's the scope of which we're going to leverage for the next 5 years to help really drive to zero waste. And even in our distilleries, we have, for example, we do a lot of distillation of evergreens, and then as a result, we have biomass. And so what do we do with that? So we have some great initiatives that are happening at each one of our farms. For a great example is, if you go to Northern Lights, we had piles and piles of wood chips. And now we have a major program that we're using to get these wood chips into smaller components. And now we have people, tribes up in the area want to buy it from us. And so they use it as fuel in their wood burning systems for fuel around their plantations and their farms and everything else. And so it's a really exciting effort. We also use these wood chips as we plant new trees in that farm, and we're doing the same the rest of the farms around the world. So really exciting. And the one thing I want to just mention is that you can't just have 1 or 2 people who are on this journey. It takes everyone to do their part the best way they can. And this is not easy, but just to go and do your part to help support your living, help your environment, and help your community by making better choices about what packaging material you use, how you reuse it, using the 5 items that I talked about to really make a difference around the world. Interesting, so I'm responsible for, obviously, fulfillment and manufacturing, and those people are on a mission. First of all, they are 99% refusing to send anything to the waste system. So they're literally 1% to zero waste. Actually, they're 1% away from being at zero waste. So 99% of everything that comes into that building gets reused, recycled, sold. It does not go to landfill because of the initiatives They have teamings. I was walking through the warehouse one day, and they were in this big circle, and you could tell that they were really like, let's go. So I'm walking to them, what's happening? What are you guys talking about? And there's this big debate because they love corn dogs, okay? So apparently the sticks in corn dogs can't go into the recycling stream. And they have this big debate about what to do with the corn dog sticks, because they ain't giving up their corn dogs. So so this is the kind of thing that they debate because they really are on a mission to get to zero waste. And it's just really refreshing and exciting to see. So Gary and Sept. This is the heartbeat of who we are as a company and what makes us different than everyone else. People years ago laughed at Gary. They taunted him. They said he's crazy. They said he doesn't know what he's doing. What is he getting himself into? Yet he stayed focused on his mission to explore what essential oils are, their benefits for the body and for humans, and allowed to explore, so that exploration got us to where we are today. No one was doing essential oils. Of course, essential oils have been around for thousands of years. Of course, Gary didn't create it. But to get to the point where he truly understood it and what it takes to deliver it, so that it can be really to the point where more and more people can have access to it, is what he was all about. And this started with relationships. So everyone, when you always think about Sept, it starts with relationships. It started with the relationships that Gary built as he went to these farmers, as he went to these growers, as he learned about the distillation process. Those relationships that he developed helped get us to establish the trust that we have in some of our suppliers, and it allows us to get to the quality standards that we have. But it all starts with deep relationships. And that's what Sept is really about, starting with relationships. My teams travel around the world, and their goal is to really audit, understand, listen, learn, teach, and really help bring a greater understanding and purpose to our suppliers and our growers, to help them really understand Sept to the ultimate. Because we're growers, we're farmers. That's what we do. That's what David talked about. We have many people in our company that do that. And so because we get our hands dirty, we have the knowledge that we can then teach and share with others. And that is our job. And that's what Gary did. So it's all about that. So starting talking about relationships, I went to France. I tried to visit all of the corporate farms and then some of the partner farms. But I went to France. This is right after the convention, maybe a week or two after the convention, end of July timeframe. And it was just an amazing experience. So I spent a lot of time with Nicholas Landell and the co-op team there that helps grow lavender for us. And we spent a week long there training, learning. So they learned from things that we do, particularly in Mona, and we learn from them, and we take those practices back and we reapply what we learned there to the other farms. And then same thing, we bring information to France to make sure that they're using the very best practices. So this is just me sitting on, this is Gary's tractor from years and years ago. So they kind of use it for parts. It doesn't run, but more photo opportunity. But this is just some of the fields that we have there. Absolutely beautiful. This is a land, we own a lot of the land there, but this particular land is a property that we leased. And it's actually up for sale. And so we went back and said, can we buy this? So we're actually going to buy this property because on it there are several really old buildings that date back to like 1100. Yeah, 1100. Broken. We could never use it. Matter of fact, we were all scared to go inside because we thought something was going to fall on us. Bad condition, but just the history there is just truly phenomenal. So can't wait to go back and make that deal happen. But standing next to me, the picture on the left there is Benoit. Benoit and his family, he's a fourth generation lavender farmer. And so his family was actually one of the very first families in the world that had lavender for hundreds of years, had been wildcrafted. And so his family was one of the very first families that actually put it on a farm, a plantation, for it to be sustainable, and then develop the systems that we have today to have the lavender that we have. And so Young Living, because they are with us, and they only supplied it to Young Living, is our farm. We can say we have knowledge that goes back literally Yet every day for the 5 days we were there, he was on the farm with us, directing us what we need to do and coaching us and giving us information. It is in broken English, but it was truly phenomenal. But so in 1906 is when Benoit's great-grandfather got into the business. 1906, that's when the very first farm was actually cultivated, lavender farm was cultivated. And so we have that rich history that we have as part of our portfolio within our products. This is a funny picture. So the white things you see way in the background there are actually sheep. So these are a great example of what David was talking about. There's no book that says, okay, here's what you need to do to be organic. But Young Living, we're beyond organic. And there's no book that provides us a roadmap to get beyond that point. So there's no book that says, okay, well, don't use goat, don't use cows, don't use, sheep is the right species that you need to use to help you with your weeding process. Nobody knows that. That's through trial and error. So they tried goats, they tried all kinds of, to do natural weeding, to not have to obviously use chemicals, and labor is really high in France. Finally, they decided that this particular type of sheep don't like to eat lavender. So they eat all of the weeds around the lavender, which is fantastic. And they leave our beautiful lavender plants alone. And the greater benefit is they poop, and their poop provides phenomenal fertilization for our. So the things that we learned, so I like to take a picture of while I was out there, the sheep eating and pooping. So. This is another picture of me and Nicholas and Benoit. And just the pictures of the team that I travel with. And we literally get in the vats. We look at, we take samples, we bring samples with us. We're setting up for hydrosol for lavender, and we're trying to set that up right there. We're just talking to them, making sure that they're meeting GMP requirements. So these are all the fun things that we do, but it's hard work. Being a farmer is fun. I was at the farms with the executive team last week. We were harvesting goldenrod, and Jared says, "Man, this is the most fun work in the world," which it is fun. But what he doesn't realize is so much hard work that goes into, and the knowledge that we have to really document and go back and study and analyze to make sure that we're doing the best all the time. But just some pictures there, just some vats that show some of our Young Living oil. The gentleman to the second to the left is John Marie. He's also part of our co-op farmers. And his family, his father and his father's father were also in the lavender business. There's a picture way in the back, probably hard to see, the pole is hiding it, but that's his father, and then right next to that, you can't see it, is his great-grandfather. And these are people who established the farming industry within France. Just so you know, you may not even know this, Provence is where we get our lavender from. But about 100% of everything that leaves Provence is for Young Living. That just shows you how powerful we are. So yeah, 100%. And actually, the exports for lavender out of France, about 70% of what leaves France is for Young Living. That's pretty exciting. Just some more pictures of our beautiful farms out there. So again, back to Seed to Seal and who we are, what we do. Everyone knows this, right? We all know we have three types of farmers, and as we develop and grow within our organization, we only bring three types of farms within our portfolio. We have farms that we own, and those are corporate farms. And these people work for Young Living, they get Young Living paychecks, own, managed, run. We do a lot of experiments on these farms, and then what we learn, like what David was sharing, is what we then go teach to other people around the world. So this is the basis of who we are, corporate farms. Most other companies do not have corporate farms like we do, and this is what makes us special. We also have partner farms. Partner farms are really an extension of our corporate farms. No, they don't work for Young Living, we don't own their land or their property, but we have really tight relationships that go back for decades with Gary, building relationships with them to get them to where they are today. And again, although they don't work for Young Living, we share, we teach, we coach, we learn, we travel there all the time, so that there's almost virtually no difference between who they are and what we are in terms of relationship standpoint. And the third is Seed to Seal certified suppliers. Now, every single oil that is within our portfolio has a minimum of that standard, so they all have the same quality standard. But from a relationship standpoint, maybe they haven't been with us as long. Maybe we're still learning about them and what they can do and drive for young living. But we've traveled all the time, and we still teach and coach them as much as we can. But the partner farms allow us a third vehicle, which is about you guys going to visit those farms because of the relationships that we have with them. And our goal is over time is to get the seed to sale certified suppliers. The quality is already where it needs to be, but is to get them from a relationship standpoint even closer to us so that you have access to them to go visit and teach and learn and bring your downlines. So that's just the difference between the three. But all of them have 100% of the oils that come from any three of these farms meet our seed to seal standards. Every single one, not one is not greater than the other. It's all the same because we expect that from everybody we get our oils from. So, an example of corporate farm is Mona. How many people have been to Mona? Very good. 1,600 beautiful acres. It's just a place that you have to go. Whether you go to convention or not, if you just take a special trip, maybe you're driving across the country with your family, you must stop by and visit the farm. And it's truly a showplace. So let's get into the three pillars of our seed to seal. First is sourcing. Now, there could be a test later, and it could be surprises. So, listen, okay? So there are three pillars in seed to seal. One is about sourcing, and that's what I'm responsible for. So it covers the gamut of where we get our oils from, how we ship and deliver them to our facilities, how we manage the whole supply chain, so the whole visibility standpoint, making sure they meet all of the requirements that we expect. So that's what sourcing is all about. Next is science, and Mike Book, everyone knows Dr. Book, he manages this pillar. And again, this is about making sure from a purity standpoint, testing to verify and validate everything we do from the sourcing side holds up. That's his job. He makes sure that he sets the global standards for how we test. There's no written book for how the best methodology for how to test a particular oil. We're the first in the industry to do this. So Mike Book's job is to make sure that he has the proper standards that support each one of the products and oils that we use. No easy task, but that is what he's responsible for. And the last pillar is standards. Standards is about doing things the right way, because that's who we are as Young Living. It is making sure that we are compliant with the law, whether it's within our country or outside our country. It's making sure that we're using the right guidelines to govern how we do our work. So we have quite a bit of conversations with Matt about making sure that we are always doing things right. So those are the three pillars. So now I have a team of people that has some oils, not others. Okay. And as much as we can, we're gonna drop a couple of oil drops in your hand because I want to take you on a journey with me. Right? Yeah, you can't get good help around here, Pay people to help you out. But this oil comes from Australia, and it is called Fregonia.
Oh, I haven't had Fregonia.
It's called Fregonia, and you may have heard me talk about it before, but I love this oil. It's not yet available, but it's an oil that we plan to bring within our portfolio, probably 2020, but now it's probably looking more like 2021. It just takes a very long time to be able to do that because of the standards that we have are quite high. Fregonia, again, as I mentioned, comes from Australia, and there's a farm that we have that's a partner farm, and we call it Gindigun. Everybody heard of Gindigun? Have you seen anything that we've written about it or videos? We have some great videos if you go to I think it's in the training website. But Gindigun, anybody know what Gindigun means? It means respect the earth. So when we develop our partner farms, we create names that are mutually exclusive with Young Living in terms of what they do, how they do it. And it's a name that kind of really resonates for us. So we chose the name for them as Gindigun, because it means respect the earth based on what they do. You can't say, when you say Gindigun, it's actually a native Aboriginal language. And you can't just say Gindigun. It's how you say it. It's Gindigun. Respect the earth. That's what it means. So it's almost like if I walk into my son's bedroom and it looks like trash, I would say, Gindigun! Doesn't work, but but you have to say it with passion and feeling. It was respect and protect our planet. And so that's what the name of this farm is, Gindigun. And so we will be one of the first companies to have, can you smell it? Yeah? Good. Smells good. Smells, it has, it reminds me of eucalyptus a little bit. It was a little bit of tea tree, but it's sweet. It has a floral scent. And it's great for face, skin health. Excellent, excellent, excellent for skin health. And I'm still learning through Matt about the compliance and how to say it the right way, but I mean, I can use an example. If you put it on a fence, it will not rust. Okay, whatever. So you know what that is. It's yeah, I didn't say it. But great oil that we're planning to bring within our portfolio. So I want to talk about the journey that this oil in particular is taking to get it to you, which is what makes Young Living very different. So our team travels around the world and we go to different farms, we learn about what they do, we help teach and coach them, and it's all about making sure that we know we have the best standards. And so how do we make sure that when it's applied to us, they're doing everything by the letter of the law and making sure that they do everything right so that they always and consistently deliver the standards that we need. And so that's part of what our jobs are from our oil sourcing team. And so here's the journey about Fregonia. That's the plant, beautiful plant. It grows wild for the most part. So we're one of the very few, with the partnership that we have with Indigun, have one of the few farms that's under cultivation because most of it grows in the wild. So the very first thing that we do is that we authenticate the species. So we look at the seed, we analyze it. Is it truly what they say it is? You can't believe how many times we've gone to places and they think they're growing something and it's not what they're really growing. And so we have to validate, because a lot of plants species look very similar. So we have to validate it through botanists, we do DNA testing and some other things to make sure that what we're looking for is actually what they're selling us. So it starts there. We verify it. We bring those seeds back, we analyze it, we send it to a third party to compare results that we get versus what they get before we go further. So that's the very first step of the process. And what I'm sharing with you now is part of an audit process. So when my team goes to look at these species, goes to look at securing oil, they go through every one of these steps. And it takes well over a week, and I have a team of about 6 or 7 people. So it's my team, it's Mike's Book's team, and also the compliant team under Matt French that actually takes this journey to every one of these farms to take a look at what they do here. Harvesting and collection, another big part. What is the process that they use? So we make sure that they only target the right species. So a great example is David talked about the cover crops that we have in between rows, and other farms in it too. But does the process that they use to harvest and collect the biomaterial interfere with the cover crop and actually intertwine with that species that they're targeting? We don't want that. They have to have defined processes that don't allow that to happen, as a great example. Make sure the proper percentage, is a great example, of the plant is harvested. Helichrysum, who uses helichrysum? One of my very favorite oils. I use it every single day along with frankincense. Love it, love it, love it. But there are very specific rules about how you harvest helichrysum. You can only take a very small percentage of the plant. If you cut more than that, it is illegal. You cannot do it. And so sometimes we go to these farms and they don't even know what the legal laws are within their countries. And so it's our job to not just know the US standards, but the laws that protect that particular species in that country. So that our job is to make sure that they're aware of their local laws. So a great example of some of the things that we do there. Agricultural practices. We check the soil. We take soil samples. We have them tested. We test it by a third party. We also test it internally to make sure it has no pesticides or anything else like that within it. We're looking at the water system. So that's a team of people that actually at Indigun in Australia. They walk the entire property to make sure that where's the source of water coming from? The irrigation systems, is it holding up the standard? Are they using water legally? What percentage of water are they allowed to use from a particular reservoir or whatever? We make sure that they're meeting the standards. And we walk the line to make sure that there's no irrigation runoff from other property that may have inorganic material that's seeping into our farms. And I guess agrochemical management. So again, are they using chemicals? That's a big no-no. And even the practices, even if they're not using chemicals, what are the practices that they're using on the farms to make sure that they're doing things the right way? This is a big one, legal compliance. We look at every single permit. We look at people who are working the land to make sure that they are permitted by law in that respective country to do the work that they're doing. There's some countries where you can't just say, I'm going to be a farmer. You have to pass certain tests and get permitted to be able to harvest a particular species. And so we have to go through all of the documentation of all of the employees, the farmers, what they do, to make sure that they're following the law. Import, export, do they have the right permits to be able to do that? Can they ship to the U.S.? Can they ship to other countries? So we go through and analyze all of that to make sure that everything is covered. Now, the great thing is illegal deforestation. I can't tell you the number of people that call me. I probably get 50 calls or emails a week with people who want to sell us. And when we start digging in, I mean, they don't pass a sniff test. Okay, your country only exports, X number of thousands of kilos of something, yet you can deliver 10,000 kilos. The math doesn't work. Where are you getting your source from? You keep pulling it back. It turns out they're not legally acquiring the materials, so they go wildcrafted, and maybe that particular species is not allowed to be wildcrafted. So there's a lot of work that we need to do. We don't just accept oils. How they extract and distill. Many people do it many different ways. We, because we've been in the business long enough, know the way it should be done for each particular material. And so a lot of times we have to go teach them. And the great thing about this is that if people say, oh great, you go see them and you don't like what you see, you walk away. No, our job is to make sure that they get better. Because you know what they do? They turn around and sell that illegal material somewhere else. And it's bad for all of us. At the end of the day, we don't want people to die or use oils that are really bad for them. So we try to teach, coach, train them to do it the right way. So whether they're going to sell it to us or someone else, we want it to be right, because it's our job as a steward of the earth and protector of people to make sure that we are teaching people to do things the right way. So making sure that they are doing it by the right standards is pretty important. Another big one is social practices. For example, when we go to farms and if you see a child working, oh, why is that child here? This legal age, making sure that everyone on that plantation on that farm is of legal age to work. Do they have their papers? Are they committed to work and do the work that they're doing there? And we've seen that, and we have stopped immediately and said that this is absolutely not okay. And one example is we saw there was gypsies, and they go from farm to farm to do farming. That's what they do. This one woman had her son, and when we questioned, why is this boy here? He's 10 years old. Comes out that because she's a gypsy, they travel from place to place. And what about his education? How does he learn? Just didn't. 10 years old and had never really had any formal education. So we, through our partner farm grant, gave them funding to build a school on a property so when gypsies come, they can be safe away from the practices of farming. There's a lot of heavy equipment and exposure to sun and elements. But also so that they can have a teacher there to help teach and educate these kids as they're migrating to these farms. So that's our responsibility. Do we have to do that? No, but it's the right thing to do. I said this twice, but this really should say storage. So the other thing we do is, because our oils originate in many, many places around the world, they have to get from A to B. That's a long process. If oil's coming from Madagascar, we're getting, a pepper from Madagascar. It is a long way to get there. When we flew, we took a boat, we took a canoe, we took a train. We had like 5 to 6 different levels of travel methods to get there. Guess what? Our oils are going to follow the same process. And so we have to make sure that every step of the way that we can validate and verify that no one else has been able to tamper with it, that it follows the best route possible, the shortest route possible, so that we can get it. Most of our oils actually are air freighted because we just don't, Gary said, yeah, we trust, but we also verify everything. We trust, but we also verify. But we put the systems in place so that it can get to us as quickly as possible under the right conditions. So they refrigerate it, that they have the right type of things in containers. The method that they use, that it only goes through hands of people that we have vetted and we trust them. We have closures on our drums so that if it's ever tampered with, we will know that it's tampered with. We're putting in a new system that you're the first people that know this, so tape and stop.
No.
We are implementing blockchain technology. Anybody, any tech geeks here? Anybody heard of blockchain? I don't see any hands up. This is brand new. It's a chain that you cannot break. So when someone at the field validates that they are the one that actually harvested a particular material, there's a chain that follows from that point till it gets to you that you can actually scan on your phone. If you have like the, what you call it, the Q, right? Scan on your phone, and it'll tell you the chain of ownership of this material going very back to the source. It is very expensive to do, but again, it takes us that much further so you know and trust the oil that you get as different than anyone else on the planet. No one else is doing blockchain technology, and we're starting that process right now, so we're excited. And testing. If you've ever sat in a room with Mike Group and listened to what his team does, it's truly phenomenal. No one else goes to the level that we do to test. We test at about 5 different points along the way, and nothing gets released until it meets our standards, and that is what makes us, again, truly different. We told a story, actually Jerry did, in Convention 2017, where we actually had some peppermint oil that came to us, and it was not what we expected. And so we pushed back, challenged, obviously, this tremendous, and we get a lot of peppermint. So when you get a shipment of peppermint, it's not a few kilos, it's tens and tens and tens of thousands of kilos to supply our members. And this was very costly if you think about the quantity that we had. And we needed the peppermint because it goes into many products that we use, and we rejected it. And we have a strong idea of where it went, but it didn't go into your products, right? And that's what Mike's job is to do, is to protect the standard, and he does that better than anyone else. Lastly, I just wanted to share that I have 2018 numbers, but because we're not done with 2019. We have a program that's called a Partner Farm Grant Program. And the goal here is we have funds that we prepare that we help support our partner farms. Our corporate farms get all the support, of course, but partner farms is, as part of the relationship with us, we help them along their seed to seal journey. So if they need, for example, money for some irrigation systems, we help them through the Partner Farm Grant. If they need help with how they distill their oils, we help them with maybe technology or getting them best-in-class boiler systems, etc. We have another partner farm that I won't mention the details, but they're working on the very first zero carbon emission distillation system in the globe. And because of our partnership, we have access to this and no one else will. So again, along our journey. So the Partner Farm Grant is to help them along their seed to seal practice, as well as to help them support and sustain the earth as best as they can. And so we've had many partners take advantage of this, and we awarded over $500,000 in 2018. It's going to be even more this year, so we're really excited about that work. And this is some of the projects that we've done with some of these partners. So you see the projects here. So you, our members, our leaders, people who are family, you are part of a movement that's something different. There's nothing else like it. Seed to Seal is critically important to who we are as a company. It's critically important to you because it's what sets the standards and makes us different than anyone else. Share what you learned from David. Share about what you learned from me, about the lens that we go through to protect you, to protect our planet, protect our oils, because no one else does it. And we look for you to continue this momentum and journey with us. So thank you so much for having me here today.